Hello everyone, welcome back to this video series wherein we are looking at the questions from SAS certification prep guide being explained. In this video, we will see the questions from the chapter which is related to creating SAS datasets from raw data. So let us take a look at the first question. It says which SAS statement associates file ref crime with the raw data file. So we have been given the name of the file ref that has to be assigned, which is nothing but the short name that has to be assigned to the file which is specified here. So we have a raw data file called crime and it is stored in this location, and the short name that we will have to give is crime. So for that we need file name statement, and the syntax for that file name statement is file name followed by the file ref for the short name and then the complete path within quotes. So we are looking for something which looks like this and the same value present in quotes here. So let us take a look at the options. So the first option says file name crime. So and the C drive states data crime. So this seems to be correct, but let us take a look at the other options and why they may not be correct. The second option, file name crime, but the path is not specified in code, so this is not correct for that reason. And then the third option says file ref, so there is no statement as file ref in SAS, so this is not correct for that reason. And the last option says file name, and it provides the path first followed by the short name, but the syntax is file name, short name, and the path in quotes. So first option is the correct one. Let us take a look at this one and see if this is correct or not. It says our response is correct. Let us move on to the next question. It says file refs remain in effect. So similar to libnames or librefs, so they will remain in effect until you change them or you cancel them or you end your SAS session. So all of them are correct. So let's go with the last option, all of these, and then see if this is correct. It says our response is correct. And let's move on to the next question. So which statement identifies the name of the raw data file to be read with file ref products and specifies the data step read only records from 1 to 15. So this is 1-15. So there are two things. So already a file ref products is being assigned, and then we'll have to specify that it has to read only 15 observations from that or 15 records from that. So we are looking for something which actually is looking for a statement which specifies the name of the file ref to read the data. So that is our in-file statement. So in-file statement is used to specify the name of the external file or the file ref associated with that external file. So in-file, so that file ref has been specified products, and then we were asked to specify that the only 15 records have to be read. So there is an option on the infile statement called OBS, which is used to specify the number of records that have to be read. So we are trying to look for something which has infile products OBS is equal to 15. So let us see if we have those things. So let us take a look at the first option. It says infile products OBS 15. So this seems to be okay, but the equal to sign is missing here. So here the equal to sign is missing here, so this option is not correct. So here on the next option, so in file products OBS is equal to 15 is specified. Yes, and then next two options have the input statement. Statement is only used to describe the arrangement of the variables in our data. So in file statement is used to specify the name of the file ref or the name of the input data file that has to be read. So second option seems to be the correct one. Let us see if this is the case. It says our response was correct. And let's move on to the next question. So we have our next question which says which of the following program correctly writes the observations from the dataset below to a raw data file. So we have been given with this dataset and we want to create a raw data file. So from a raw dataset to raw data file, we will be able to write to external files using file statement. And we all know that for reading, so we use in-file statement. In order to read data from external files, we use in-file statement. To write to the external files, we need to specify the file statement within the data step. So let us see what are the options given. So before that, let's also see what are the variables present: ID, sex, age, height, weight, and pulse. So out of which age, height, weight, and pulse are numeric variables. ID could be character or numeric. Sex is a character variable. So let us go through the options and see which of the options have the file statement. So, and again, along with file, we need to use put statements, and with in file we use input statement because we are reading. So for file we use put statements to write to the external files. So here if we see the first option, we have in file statement used, so this is not correct. And then here we have an input statement, this is also not correct. So here we have a file statement, this seems to be okay. And then on the last option we also have a file statement, so this seems to be checked. So out of these two options, let's now check what could be correct. So the thing that clearly comes to picture is that we have to specify the path of the external file within quotes. So here it is not done, so this could be wrong for that reason. And then now let us check the final option. So we have file statement and the path specified within the quotes. So this is correct till here. So the next thing is that we need to see if all the columns were being displayed. So we had 6 columns, so for which we need to have 6 different variables to be specified. Here we have ID 1, sex 2, age 3, height 4, weight 5, and then 6. So we have all the variables also specified on the put statement. So this seems to be the correct option. So let us select that and then see if this is the case. It says our response is correct. Let's move on to the next question. So which raw data file can be read using column input? So column input is used when the data is arranged in fixed columns, which means if for example in the external file, if one character is considered as occupying one column, so data for a particular variable has to be occupying fixed set of columns. So that kind of data can be occupied. So for example, the first 3 columns could be occupied for name and the next 3 could be occupied for a particular variable. Even if say for example for the second thing there is only a row which has only one particular character but do not have the values for this thing, but the next variable's value should start at the fixed position. So let's say the third variable again occupies some fixed number of characters. So let us see the available options and see which has that possibility. So here if we see in the first option Henderson, Josephs, so this seems to be the state value SC, MN and Y. So here if we take a look at the things like CA is starting at around 10th position here, but somewhere before that here in the second row. And for MN it is like again it is not aligned in a specific column. The state value or even the numbers which are present here are not aligned on the specific columns across different rows. So if it has to be read using column input, they all have to start on the same column position. So it doesn't seem to be that way. So here in the second option, so everything seems to be aligned. Say for example here first 4 characters are occupied and then fifth position is left as blank and something is starting at sixth position, and then here also something is starting at 12, 13, 14th position, and then again some other information is starting at 22nd position. So why am I saying like how can I say that it is a 22nd? So here this is 20, 21, 22. So and the intermediate fifth position is indicated in the external files using a plus sign generally. So here the second option seems to be okay. So but let us check the last option again. Here if we see Avery, John, Davidson, Cheryl, Holbrook, Grace. Again, if we want to read information from here to here into a single variable, so this may work, but nothing is specified. And again, here on the uh, something is starting at the same position, but assuming that if this information is has to be read into separate variables, so this is not a suitable candidate for column input because the first name or last name is not starting in the same position on all the records. So let us go with option 2 and see if this is the correct one or not. It says our response was correct. So let's move on to the next question. It says which program creates the output shown below. So we have been given the screenshot of some external raw data file and also the data set. So here print should have been used to generate this one. So as we have OBS column, then ID, last name, first name and city. So when reading the data, they should have read it correctly in the same order. So we are looking for a program that contains a proc print step which generates this one, and we are looking for a data step which reads the content from this file. Within the data step we need to have in file statement, and we also need four variables to be read. So those four variables are ID, last name, first name, and city. So let us go through the options provided. So here if we see first one which says work.salesrep in file emp data, input ID, last name from 6 to 12, so first name and city. So emp data column input is being used with ID is being read as character, last name is being read as this one, and then first name is read as character variable from 14 to 18 position and 20 to 29. So let us take a look at the options, other options also. And then here if we see 1 to 4, 6 to 12, first name, city. So let us check the names of the variables again. So ID, last name, first name and city. So ID, last name, first name and city. And then in the second one, the input statement is having reading it as name, but we do not have any column that is displayed as name here. So this could be wrong for that reason. And then let us move on to the next option. So here on the third option it says name one. The third option it says name one. So this is also not correct because we do not have any variables in the printed output with the names of name 1 and name 2. So this is wrong for that reason. So the first option seems to be the correct one, but let's select that and see if that is the case. It says our response is correct, and let's move on to the next question. So it says which statement correctly reads the fields in the following order. So it says first we need to read stock order, and then finish, and then style, and then item, and then price. So we have been given the starting column position and ending column position for stock number, finish, and other variables as well. And it is also mentioned the data type of the variables to be read. Most of the them are being read as character, and the last one price is to be read as numeric. So for whenever we are reading something into a character variable, we need to specify the dollar sign after the name of the variable so that they will be read as character values. So it has to be after the name of the variable. So let us see the options. For stock number, it has to be from 1 to 3. This is correct. And then finish is from 5 to 9. This is also correct. And then style dollar as a character from 11 to 18. This is also correct. So The next one is item from 20 to 24. This is also correct. And then here also dollar sign is being used, which means character. And for price, as we have to read it as numeric, there shouldn't be any dollar sign. So this seems to be okay, but let us see the other options before we conclude. So again, in the next option, which says stock number of 1 to 3, that is okay. And then second, here it is reading the numeric variable price, but for as per our requirement we had to read finish first before reading price, so this is not correct for that reason. And then here on the third option, if we see dollar sign is placed before the stock number, so which is not correct, so we'll have to place the dollar sign after the name of the variable, so this is not correct for that reason. And then here again, the reading order is not correct. Stock number, dollar, and then price is being read. So one more thing is that for price, it is reading it as numeric. So the order is not correct in first place, and the second thing is that it is reading price as a numeric character variable instead of numeric. So this is not correct for that reason. So first option seems to be the correct one. So let us check that. It says our response was not correct. Let's try again. Or let's see the answer explanation, which is being correct. Okay, the option was that we had to read stock number, price, item, finish, and style. So which is actually present in the second option. So here the second option is correct. So I was reading the order in this way, but it was mentioned in the question here as stock number, price, item, finish, and style. So this is what is the correct option. So let us move on to the next question. So which statement correctly redefines the values of a variable income as 100% higher? So for example, if we have a value of 10, so it should become 20. So which statement actually does that, we'll see. So the first one is saying like income multiplied by 1. So 10 multiplied by 1 would become 10 only. So this is not the correct option. And the second one says income plus income multiplied by 2. So 10 plus 10 multiplied by 2, which is 20. So the overall value becomes 30. So our expectation is that it will become only 20. So this is not correct for that reason. And then in the third statement, it says income is equal to income multiplied by 2. So 10 multiplied by 2, 10 will give us the 20 value. So this seems to be correct. So but let us also check the last option and see why that could be wrong. So here we have not specified anything before the multiplication symbol. So this is syntactically not correct. So let us go with the first option, third option, and then see if this is the correct one or not. It says our response is correct. And let's move on to the next question. So which program correctly reads in-stream data? So in-stream data is nothing. We can read data from external files, which means the data is stored in external files, or we can directly place the data in our SAS program itself, which is called in-stream. So in order to read in-stream data, we have something called as data line statement or card statement has to be used in the data step so that all the lines of data will be entered after that particular data line statement and before the run statement. So we are looking for something which has data lines or card statement in the options. So let us see if any of them has this. So we do not have any of that thing in the first option. We do not have a cards or instant. So here we have some pieces of data being provided, but we do not have any data line statement provided. So we have some lines of data here, so but we do not have the data line statement. So here in the second thing we have input statement and then data line statement, but we do not have data provided. So we do not have any data provided here. So this could be wrong for that reason. Let's move on to the next option and then see. In the third option we have our data line statement and also the data. And also in the fourth option also we have our data line statement and also data available. So let's see which of these two third or fourth options could be correct. So let us examine a little closer. So here if we see the third option, so year is being read as 1 to 4 with as numeric value. So as all the data present on first four columns seems to be numeric, so this is okay. For country it is being read from position 6 to 11. So what would happen if we do it this way? For country 6 to 11, column position 6 to 11, so it is being read as numeric variable. So what would happen is it may go wrong because country the value seems to be in character format. So but it is being read into a numeric variable, so that could be go wrong for that reason. So it has to have that character symbol specified with a dollar sign, so that the information of US and other thing will go and sit in correctly in the country. So last option seems to the correct. So let's check if that is actually the case. It says our response was correct. Let's move on to the next question. So which SAS statement subsets the raw data shown below so that only observations in which 6 in the second field has a value of f are processed. So here it says like we have some values like m and f in the second field of the raw data. So we are being asked to identify the line of the code that filters the values for which has a value of x in f in the sex variable for the second field. For that, for if statement, we'll have to specify the name of the variable followed by the value that we want to uh, subset for. This is case sensitive, so we are being asked to subset for F, so it has to be capital F only, and then that as it is an explicit text that has to be within quotes. So this third option is the correct one. So otherwise if we had quotes around this F is equal to 6, that would also have been worked, but we do not have quotes here. On the second option we do not have quotes around here. On the first option also we do not have quotes, and we have a lowercase f here. So when we specify it as within the quote, so it assumes that it is comparing the values from sex variable with a variable named f, but we want to subset the record based on the value f, not based on the values present in a variable named f. So third option is the correct one. So let us see if that is the case. It says our response was correct. Thank you for watching and keep learning.